So you're leveling in Wrath of the Lich King, and as much as you love cracking undead skulls and farming the backside of bears, you're looking for something to really sink your teeth into. I'm talking questlines with a story, questlines with enjoyable characters, questlines that release that sweet hit of dopamine that a consuming gamer craves. Well, I've got 5 of them for you. 5 of the best questlines in the whole damn expansion. Spoilers ahead, of course. I recommend turning the video off and experiencing these quests for yourself firsthand. Anyway, that's your warning. Let's get on.
Yeah, but first we need to hear a word from today's video sponsor, Naraka Blade Point.
Naraka is a melee-focused combat battle royale game that features fast-paced combat, insane mobility thanks to a handy grappling hook, and a vast arsenal of weapons to choose from. And it's going 50% off from October 18th to November 1st, or free with an Xbox Game Pass. And it's all linked below, down in the description. This is quite a unique battle royale game, as because it's melee, it's all about predicting enemy attacks, countering them, and then watching your foes fall at your horrendous looking character's feet. And when I say horrendous, I ain't kidding. Naraka has some of the most in-depth character creation that a person could ask for, so much so that someone was able to recreate my own mother in the game. Use your grappling hook to traverse the land, discover each hero's unique skills, and claim victory in the Battle Royale arena. And also, my mother is actually beautiful and you guys are bad people for laughing. Go check out Naraka Blade Point today by clicking the link down below in the description. Alright, back to WotLK's video.
Number 1. Drakuru. Drakuru is a Drakari prisoner captured by treasure hunters in Grizzly Hills. Drakuru offers the player a deal. He'll guide the player through the nearby Drakfaran Keep in exchange for breaking him free and cleansing the temple of the Vile Scourge. The player gathers materials and creates potions for Drakuru. As the player is guided through the Scourge Fortress, Drakuru befriends us. And once at the top of the ziggurat, the player summons him proper. It is there revealed that Drakuru is not here to cleanse the temple, but betrays the Drakari, summoning the Lich King and pledging loyalty to him. For the player's help, Drakuru offers him a position of power in his new Scourge-controlled empire. And later on in Zoldrak, the player can once again encounter the now Overlord Drakuru. The troll recognizes and even welcomes the player, offering him quests. The Ebon Blade takes notice and recruits the player to sabotage and destroy Drakuru's operations. And in the end, Drakuru is slain quite violently by the Lich King for his failure. Number 2. The Hour of the Warg. While slaying the Worgen of the Grizzly Hills, there's a chance one may drop a book. Mikhail's Journal. The journal describes a wolf cult that has risen in the area, and an eerie openness of the townsfolk to join it. He has sent his daughter Sasha away to stay safe. While investigating the wolf cult, it is revealed a long-forgotten enemy has returned. The Archmage Aragorn, the very man who brought the Worgen curse into the world. Now a reanimated shade, he is working for the Scourge. Despite this revelation, not everyone believes your story. The player seeks out a blind seer by the name of Rauna, and after collecting materials, the player is shown a vision of Solstice Village, a town infected with the Worgen curse. Rauna tells the player about Sasha, who had seen the same vision earlier that day. Sasha is seeking vengeance upon the wolf cult for killing her father and kidnapping her sister. Sasha has captured one of the villagers and is attempting to extract information from him about the location of her sister. This journey puts the player on a path to the mysterious Blood Moon Isle, conscripted by Arthas to serve the Scourge. There, the player slays Aragorn's most powerful minions, and at the top of the island's tower defeats him, ending his reign of terror once and for all. Number 3. Crusader Bratt. Now, this questline is probably what many would consider the saddest in the expansion. In Icecrown Glacier, High Lord Tyrion Fordring enlists the player to locate the lost hero, Crusader Bratt. He is meant to be far in the north, at a location known only as the Silent Vigil. The player discovers a lone campfire and a Crusader lying in pain on the cold ground. Brydon tells the player he's overcome with the undead plague, and while he doesn't fear death, he does fear becoming a pawn of the Lich King. The significance of this quest lies outside of the game. Brad Brydon was a huge World of Warcraft fan who was suffering from cancer. After his death, his brother Rob requested an in-game memorial for him. Chris Metzen created this questline, and Crusader Brydon, a noble warrior lost to disease, to remember him. So, when you're next in Icecrown, be sure to keep an eye out for the Lost Crusader. Number 4. Quail de la. While dungeoning in the frozen halls of Icecrown, there's a chance a rare item, the battered hilt, will drop. The player brings this item to an NPC in the Argent tournament, but it cannot be identified. The player then travels to the Dragon Aspects to obtain a reference book, but it was already given to a man in Dalaran. And once in Dalaran, the player kills a spy who was in the city to steal the book. After a few favors for a local, the player is given a disguise to sneak into the enemy faction's area of Dalaran. The player is able to obtain the book and returns to Icecrown. Right before the item's true nature is revealed, Lanafel, Queen of the Sand Lane, appears and tells the story of the hilt. It is Quail de la, sister of Quail Sarah, the legendary sword from Vanilla WoW. And now begins the player's journey to reforge the blade. First, the player travels to the Pit of Saron to obtain Saronite, the metal made from the blood of the old god. The player then must return to the frozen halls to temper the blade in the Crucible of Souls. Then, in the Halls of Reflection, the sword is reborn, but it is drawn to Frostmourne. Ufa warns the player, but it's far too late. The sword leaps from its sheath and attacks the player. After defeating the sword, the player brings it to the Sunwell to be purified. Quail de la then chooses the player as its new master, giving them one of the best weapons in Wrath of the Lich King. And finally, number 5, Matthias Lena. During an assault on Icecrown Citadel, the player is flung far below the stronghold of the Lich King and discovers a mysterious object. After touching it, the ghost of a young child appears, and his name is Matthias Lena. The child suspiciously offers quests where the player can see through the eyes of Arthas Menethil. Matthias shows the player the futility of fighting the undead scourge with conventional armies, and the strange object is eventually revealed to be an organ encased in ice. Matthias tells us that he saw him throw it away. Matthias also tells us that now that the player has touched the object, he will be hunted. Suspiciously, the next time we encounter the ghostly child, it is at the place where Arthas raised Sindragosa, the undead dragon from the cinematic. It is not long after revealed that the strange object we touched was Arthas Menethil's heart, which he himself carved from his body. Then the player enters a vision, where he actually controls Arthas and fights Illidan before the Frozen Throne. Eventually, the player returns to Tirion Forgeling, relaying all of this information. And Tirion now has his hope rekindled that he can return Arthas to his old self. And after infiltrating the Scourge's dark cathedral, Tirion peers into the heart. It is here that he realizes that there is no Arthas left. Only the Lich King remains. The Lich King then arrives and subdues the player, Tirion, and their companions. And in an act of defiance, Tirion destroys the heart of the Lich King, allowing him and the player to escape. And of course, once the questline is done, we realize that Matthias Lena is an anagram of Arthas Menethil, the boy being the last remnant of Arthas's soul. Right, anyway, that's it. You've had your fill. Now go and experience these 5 quests for yourselves. When they're all available, of course, because they really are some of the best in the expansion. In fact, I believe Nixium recently went into more detail on the Drakuru questline. One of the numbskulls editing this video will put a link on screen there you go. Go ahead and click on it if you want to know more. So, until next time, folks, you have a good day. Now clear off.